Well, hello everyone. Welcome back again to another edition of the Raise Your Bars podcast. I'm here with Chris Baker, and we just spent I don't know, the last 15, 20 minutes chatting offline before we hit record, just about filling each other in about what's going on and plans and strategies and all the good things that are happening. And we hope that you have a lot of good things happening in your world right now as well, especially in this negative world in which we live in. But
Yeah.
we can really, we determine our attitude, right, Chris?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
That's for sure. The only thing that you can control 100% of the time, every single day, is your attitude.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
focus on that for sure.
Yeah, I like that old Zig Ziglar quote. What is it? Your attitude, the attitude determines your altitudes, right? If you really want to move
Correct.
forward and go higher in life, then your attitude plays an important role into that. But
It
today
does.
we're gonna dive back into 10 Steps to Freedom, which is Chris's book. You can get it on Amazon. I highly recommend you order a copy and follow along with us and read through it and do the exercises in it because it's definitely going to help you um, achieve the freedom that you want in your life. And it's Chris, I'm reading it along with us as we go. I just finished up again chapter 1 this morning and some new highlights and some new thoughts about it, but we're going to go back
Yeah.
to the introduction just for a little bit this morning. We may not get to chapter 1 yet today, but we're going to go back to the introduction this morning. And sorry, we're recording it this in the morning. That's why I said this morning. and and just talk about a few, and you ask a question here. Do you have a dream? And
Yeah.
maybe before we even dive into the different steps you take, or you tell us about in here, you can maybe spend a few minutes. Why did you write this? Again, we talked a little bit about it, the book in total at the beginning, but why did you get onto the dream topic? What drove you to, put pen to paper, so to speak, and
Y- Yeah.
create?
It's a good question, and you're asking me to go back 6.5 years now and think about things, and but the fact is, I think I shared last week, I was like 52 when I started writing this, right? And I realized that whilst I'd been, you know, reasonably successful in my professional life, I hadn't in my personal life. And even when I looked at my professional life, I was like, am I doing everything I should be doing? And I was living a little in regret, right? Now, you talk about the regret weighing in tons, and I think that was weighing on me. And I started looking and thinking, well, okay, I'm 52, but that means that I've got maybe 15 years or so left of work, and then I've got retirement. And what have I got to look forward to? And so essentially I was drifting, right? Like we've talked about that sort of challenge of drifting and just going through the motions. And I as I reflected on that, I was like, I'm not happy with this.
Right.
And I'd started studying personal growth. I'd sort of stumbled across, or it was presented with, Simon Sinek's Golden Circle, which again we've mentioned before. And if you haven't seen that video, go and look it up on YouTube. It's a TED talk. It's really, really good. And that was in my mind. I'd been teaching that a little bit at Disney and to a few groups. I'd worked with it on my teams there. I'd joined the John Maxwell team. I was getting certified. I'd got certified in DISC. And so I was then like, well, what am I going to do with this? What do I want to do with this? And
Yeah.
this is where I'll come. Well, what is my dream? Right? Do I
Right.
have a dream? And I realized I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that this whole dream thing, and you use dream as an acrostic, and we'll go through the words in a minute, but I think this is an ongoing thing, right? It's not just like I have a
Sure.
dream, you achieve the dream, life is grand.
Yeah.
And I think as we grow, the dream evolves and grows. And I think it takes a lot of discipline to stay on track because
Mhm.
there are so many distractions in this world that can pull you off course from what you're working towards. And I think it's
Yeah.
sad when that happens because then you have these missed opportunities.
Yeah.
And that opportunity may then go to somebody else, right?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Mm.
So it's important to stay focused on A, know what the dream is, and then stay
Mhm.
focused on the steps you need to create in order to achieve that dream. And as it
Yeah.
evolves and grows, you keep adding the steps.
Exactly, and I think this is where I started using the metaphor of the GPS system, right? The navigation system, where if I was in that that situation at the time where I was wanting to start a journey and I was pressing go, but my navigation system internally was just spinning. And I'm like, well, what's going on? And well, with a navigation system, the first thing you have to put in there is your destination.
Exactly.
Right? Where do you want to go? If you don't put that in, you can do anything else, everything else, and you're still going to spin because you doesn't know where you're going.
You know you want to go, but you don't know where you want to go, and I think that's
Correct.
where we get if we answer some of these questions today,
Yeah.
if our listeners answer some of these questions or start working on some of these questions, you don't even necessarily need to answer them today, but at
Yeah.
least start working on it. It's gonna start giving you the coordinates you need so you can enter that into your GPS
Right.
at some point in the near future and start going. So, the question you asked originally at the beginning is, "Do you have a dream?" And the D in dream stands for desire. And
Desire.
you
Yeah.
say the desire is I was gonna say the author says, but it's
Mhm.
you. Desire is the cornerstone and starting point of all dreams. And without desire, your dream unlikely come true. And
Yeah.
the more intense your desire, the more likely it is that your dream will come true. I challenge you to find your burning desire.
Yeah. And I think all of us as we look back, I asked this question of the new leader class that I taught this week at Disney. Is like who has got a goal, right? Or who has had a goal that they've given up on, and why did
Mm,
you give up on it?
mhm.
And again, it's interesting how few people actually have goals, right? And how few people actually want to admit that if they had a goal, they gave up on it. But we
Right.
all have, right? If we're honest about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so let's break it down even more and say how many people set New Year's resolutions, right? And we know statistically that by Valentine's Day, as many as 80% of those New Year's resolutions are already debunked, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
Long
given up on. Why? Because the desire wasn't strong enough.
right.
Did we really want to do that thing, or did we just want to do it?
Yeah.
Right? Did we really want to get fit and lose weight, or was it just a thing that we like, well, maybe we should, and I would like to do that. But if
Mhm.
the desire isn't strong enough, then guess what? We'll go to the cookie jar, right? We'll go to get
Yeah.
a takeaway meal instead of making a healthy one at home. So that's on a smaller scale, but your desire for your dream, your grand vision has got to be white hot burning desire. And I took this from Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill talks about that, and we studied that for a year or 18 months or more, and even now we go back to reference it.
Exactly.
Your dream has to be a white hot burning desire. Otherwise, it's unlikely to come true.
Yeah. And actually I just pulled out my Think and Grow Rich book, actually, as you were talking about this, because, and Napoleon Hill says desire is the starting point for all achievement. And he
Yeah.
talks about, you know, um, well, burn the bridges behind him. In another place, we talk about burning the ships, right?
Mhm.
This is the direction we're gonna go. There really is no option for turning back because turning back means failure or mediocre life or settling or drifting. And so let's just burn the bridges or burn the ships that got us here because we are not turning around and we're not going back. And Napoleon actually says every person who wins in any undertaking must be willing to burn his ships and cut all sources of retreat. Burning desire to win is essential to success.
Yeah. Now, I will give you a caveat to that, right? Because I think just having a desire and a dream on its own and then burning everything else and just going for it is a little irresponsible, right? And 2018, I did that. because I took all of this and I think, great, took what Napoleon Hill was saying there, and I'm going to leave Disney. I'm going to set up my own business. I'm going to run that, and I'm going
Right.
to burn all those. Well, that that didn't work, right? Why didn't it work? Because I didn't have a well thought out, structured plan, right? And
Right.
a dream without a plan is just a wish. So
Exactly.
the caveat is don't just sort of jump both feet in because you go, I've got a dream, I understand it, I'm going for it, I'm going to forget everything else. Stop a little bit. You got to fill the rest of these things in and then make a plan and then start moving. Right. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect plan. It never is going to be
Nope.
because it's going to
Nope.
keep evolving.
Yeah.
But you've at least got to know like one or two steps ahead about what are you looking to do and what's your objectives.
Just like when we're doing disc trainings, I mean, I know when I talk about the C type or cautious type personality, right? They want everything to be perfect and they get that,
Yeah.
paralysis by analysis type thing, and they have a hard
Yeah.
time getting started because it has to be perfect. Well, guess what? It's never going to be perfect. Sometimes we
No.
just need to take the step and clean up the mess as we go.
Yeah.
Create a little bit of a mess and then clean it up as we go.
Yeah. Which that really leads on to the R, right? The reflect.
Yeah, the next one, the R is reflect. Reflect on your progress as you travel on your journey. And you actually say, schedule this daily reflection time to
Mhm.
understand what is working and what is not. And I think that's where a
Yeah,
lot of the wheels fall off people's plans, so to speak, is because
for
they're
sure.
not evaluating their progress. What went well? What didn't go so well? What do I need to do better? Do I need to adjust my course a little bit because there's construction on this road,
Yeah,
you know, or there's an accident?
exactly. Yeah. And the key thing there out, like you said, sorry, is adjust your course. You don't adjust your destination,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because most of us, what we'll do, if that desire is not strong enough, we go, oh, I'm not going to get to that dream, that destination. So let me take another route and go to something else that's easier.
Let me hit end route and I'll go get a milkshake, right?
Yeah,
Like it's just it's
exactly. Or
it's
turn
not
back and go back to what you know.
yeah, I'm gonna go back
Right.
home because it's comfortable there, right? I
Yeah.
know my couch is calling me, right? And I think
Yeah.
that a lot of people get trapped in again, they get trapped in that comfort zone. We've talked
Yeah.
about it so many
Of
times
course.
on here, and we're not trying to repeat ourselves intentionally, but I think that this just, it's a point that needs to be hammered home that the
Yeah.
comfort zone is mediocre,
Yeah.
mediocrity, and I don't wanna live I don't the worst thing that could be said about me at my funeral is like, "I lived an average life."
Yeah.
Whoa, I would literally roll over in my grave, come back
I
to
know.
haunt that person, like,
Yeah.
don't ever say that about me, right? So,
No, no.
anything you wanna add to reflect before we go to the E in dream?
Well, I'd say one of the things in reflect is again is build into that your gratitude, right? So make sure that you are again focusing on what's going well, but what are you grateful for in your life, right? And that will keep that momentum and that correct attitude. So, with this, when I did this, I'm not a journaler, but I journaled for 2 years every single day and
Good
made
for
it a
you.
habit. Right now, I don't do that, but because in my meditation time, I'm effectively doing that internally, right? But that doing that because of creating that habit. So I would say that, and then you've also got something you can go back to because when times get hard, which they will, when
Mhm.
you're going towards a big dream, it's not all going to be smooth sailing. So sometimes you need that to go back and reflect and just go, oh, actually, I am moving forward. I am doing well. Look at all these things that I'm grateful for. Right. And that will lift you up and carry you forward as well.
Mm, mhm. So good. So, the E in dream is eliminate. And here's
Mhm. Yeah.
something that I need to do. I'm very my I personality, Chris, I'm very easily
Yeah.
distracted, off
Yeah.
course, off task, and today is a work in my home office day, and I've got a long list of stuff to do, but I know that I could probably get it done in half the time if I focused.
Mhm.
But eliminate all unnecessary distractions and tasks so that you can stay focused on the dream itself and remain
Yeah.
effective in your pursuit of it. Right. There are so many distractions in this world. I forget what I read a stat, and then I know the numbers are gonna be wrong here, but, 50 years ago, the advertisements that people saw a day was like, I was like 500 or something like that, and now it's like 10,000. It's just
Right.
it increased exponentially, bombarded everywhere, sensory overload, And I think that, one of the things that you do help you eliminate those necessary distractions, which I need to probably get in the habit of doing, but spending that time in your early morning, meditating, thinking
Hmm.
about reflecting on the previous day, but that helps you focus your mind on the intention of the day and set aside the distractions that are going to come, or
Yes.
learn to adjust and learn to have I guess be brave enough to set aside the distractions as they come.
Yeah. And again, when we look at this, people will say to me, "Well, but I don't want to give up on social media. I don't want to give up on my TV. I don't want to give up on." I'm not asking you to give up, right? I'm
Nope.
asking you to be intentional about effectively scheduling time to do those things, right? I was gosh, who was I talking? Oh, it was in one of my classes the other day, and one of the class the learners there was talking. It's when we were talking about goals, and she was talking about how she'd set a goal to read so many books this year, to go to the gym X number of times this year, and so I was like, asked the question, well, what motivated you to set those goals?
Mm.
And she said, well, at Sunday, the end of the week or whatever, you look on your phone and it tells you how much screen time you've had on your phone.
Right.
And she
Yeah.
looked at it and she saw it one day and she said, that's like crazy. And
Mhm.
so it was, how can I repurpose that screen time into productive time? So I'm not asking you to, again, when we say
There you go.
eliminate, it's eliminate the distractions. So what you can do is create, whether you do it physically on your calendar or whatever, but create like space where you say, okay, like, I'm gonna I like the 60-10 rule that Robin Sharma talks about, right? In, I think it's in the 5 a.m. club, where you'll work on something for 60 minutes and then you'll give yourself like a 10-minute break, right? And
Right.
in that 10-minute break, you may say, well, that's where I'm going to just like walk around, or that's when I'm going to look at Facebook or TikTok or
Mhm.
whatever, right? But
Mhm.
then you finish that 10 minutes and then you get back to your next section, right? So
Right.
we're not saying that if you've got, like yourself today, you may have like 8 hours that you're saying, I'm going to be in my office. You can't work for 8 hours straight
No. No.
without a break, because I guarantee that after a couple of hours your mind is going to get distracted, it's going to
Mhm.
get tired. So you need to eliminate the distractions by setting time for those distractions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think even, again, and then that comes back to the desire being strong enough to
Yes,
pull you back on task after you take that break, right? Or
exactly.
after you get
Yeah.
distracted. Yeah, again, my biggest downfall is my phone. Absolutely, 100%. It's so easy to get in there, and then you
It
look
is.
at something, and then it takes you click on this, and you click on that, and then you click on this, and you swipe up for this, and then the next
Mhm.
thing I know, 20 minutes has passed,
Yeah,
and I'm beating myself up for the fact that I I I didn't get the work done I needed to get
I know.
done. So,
Yeah.
eliminating these necessary distractions, again, for certain personality types, it's a little bit more difficult. For others, it's a little bit easier, but it is a learned skill, I
Yeah.
think, and discipline is learned. So disciplining ourselves to make appropriate decisions,
Yeah.
even when it's comfortable to do something else.
Yeah. And the barometer for that, Al, is looking at it, is it taking you closer towards your dream or down a cul-de-sac and further away, right?
Exactly.
Um, but understanding that we all need that harmony, that it's not a balance because it's not even, but that harmony where it can't all be work, 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 right? There's got to
Exactly.
be some me time and some just to decompress and clear the mind and then get
Right.
ready for the next.
Hey, Chris, we're already at 20 minutes or 19
I
minutes.
know.
Do you want to do the last three letters of dream next podcast?
Sure.
Give some, yeah, I think
Yeah.
why not? I think it's been a good discussion, Chris.
Yeah.
I so appreciate you, my friend, and just, even you taking the discipline to write this book, which I know can help so many. So once again, folks, if you're, when you tune in and you wonder what we're talking about, go get 10 Steps to Freedom, your 10-step guide to living the life you deserve by Chris J. Baker. It's got his wonderful picture on the cover, so you can't
Mhm.
miss, and just read it, follow along with us, and you know, work on generating your dream and working towards your desires in life.
Yeah.
And again, if you're again with our bars program, our 5-step profit growth formula, if you are a business owner listening in, go to raiseyourbars.com. Watch our very short, it's a 6-minute webinar. It's a 6-minute video, just tells you a little bit about who we are and what we're doing. And honestly, folks, if we could show you, especially if you're a retailer or in a business that sells our goods or services, um, we can show you how to increase your profit by upwards of up to or more than 214% in the next 12, 18, or 24 months.
Wow.
Seriously.
Crazy. Yeah.
So that sounds like that's crazy. That's not achievable. Honestly, we can show you how. And we
Mhm.
do that for free for a limited number of businesses for a limited time here. We're giving away our profit growth formula assessment. We take about an hour of your time on a Zoom call and we go through this assessment and then we'll deliver you the results. We're not going to sell you anything. We're just going to ask you a bunch of questions to do this assessment. And we're going to deliver this 50-page assessment to you, which will help you grow your profit substantially over the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months.
Mm.
So go to raiseyourbars.com, watch the webinar, book a call with us, and we would love to hop on a call with you. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Please share this podcast with friends, family, coworkers, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye for now.